Hey there, friends. How's it going today? So I want to talk about Bob Dylan's song Blowin' in the Wind in this lesson, and I'm going to do it along the topic of sort of bouncing bass lines or adding bass lines to your strumming in a way that you get this kind of melodic movement. And Michelle, I'm going to answer your question here. First of all, Michelle, thank you for your support on the Song Notes website of mine. I really appreciate it. I want to help you out here. So you ask about Bob Dylan, Blowin' in the Wind, and you're having difficulties combining the bass part, especially the walk downs, with the strumming. So you asked for a tutorial on this magical song. So let's get into it. I'm going to help you out really quick. So big picture, I'm going to show this to you in the key of C first with capo 2nd fret, and then Michelle, I'm going to show it to you using no capo in the key of D. And the point of doing this is to show you how the same technique can be used for multiple keys. It doesn't matter what key we're playing in. First up, looking at the song big picture, there's 4 parts to the verse. If we're capo 2nd fret, right? Using chord shapes in the key of C, all we have is our C, our F, and our G. Okay, just a quick walkthrough of the components of everything here. Now, as far as the C and the G, those are pretty straightforward chords. I recommend using your ring and middle finger for the G on the thickest 2 strings because it makes this transition really nice from the C. And then for the F, what I recommend doing is at the simplest version is just this baby F, right? 3rd, 2nd, 1st fret. Okay, on strings 2, 3, and 4. And you can leave that thinnest string open if you want. It's going to create an F major 7. It's a little bit of a unique sound there. You could also skip that thinnest string if you want. Another version of the F you might feel more comfortable doing is this 4-string version, right? 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Ring finger stays on that 5th string. We just have our pinky on the 4th string there, right? Now, let's look at the song context, big picture, just to understand things, right? Here's the progression. There's 4 parts, and there's a lot of similarities here. Now, I'm going to do a single strum of each measure just to start things off, right? Part 1 is C into F into G into C, and C into F into C. And part 2, C into F into G into C, and C into F into G. Part 3, which is the same as part 1, C into F into G into C, C into F into C. Okay, now part 4, this is where that walk down is going to happen, right? But just if I did a single strum of each chord, we'd go from F to C to G, and C to G to F, and F to C to G into C, okay? And that's the entire song. It just repeats that 4-part cycle over and over and over again. Now, as far as strumming, just really quick, those first 3 parts, I would just recommend a bass down, up, down, a bass down, up, down, a bass down. When I say bass, I just mean play the bass note of whatever chord you're playing. And if you can't do that, just do a regular down strum, right? Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, down. Up, down, down, down. But when we get to that last part, part 4, we're going to use this bass down, bass down, bass down, down, bass down, bass down, bass down. Anytime we have a measure with 2 chords, we're going to use that little abbreviated strum there. But now let's look at the tab for this and talk about these walking bass lines that are sort of combined with the strumming here. Okay, so first thing you're going to notice here are the circled, highlighted notes. Those represent the walking bass line, right? You could just play those to get a feel for things. Da da dum dum bum 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 bum. You could sing it, right? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Or you could count it. See below the tab, I have the 1, 2, 3, 4. That represents our timing, right? 4 counts per measure, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm moving along pretty quick, similar to Dylan's pacing, but you can slow it down. If you need to take your time with things, totally slow it down here, and you'll be in good shape. Now, let's look at the rest of the tab here with the chords and everything, because I really want to make sure you understand how I suggest approaching this. Now, first up, you're going to notice those little strums I have. Those are always on strings 2, 3, and 4 for the most part. Now, you could do a full strum of the entire chord if you are fretting it, but don't let that confuse things for you, right? You could keep it as simple as just those 3 strings. And the main idea here is we do the bass note, then a strum, right? Next bass note. Okay, so those are the first 4 measures. Let's talk about what's going on here. One thing you're going to notice is the sort of, again, those partial chords. I want to call out those out. For the F, it's just those 3 notes, right? 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret on strings 4, 3, and 2. Now for the C, the bass note is going to be our E note, right? This is the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So technically this would be like a C over E, but really you could just play that E note and then strum a full C chord. That would sound fine too, right? And then likewise for the G, our bass note is going to be the open 4th string, which is a D note. We could strum though the full G chord if you're fretting it. But if you only fret, if you could just play the 4th string open and then play strings 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so whether you fret the entire chord or just a portion of it, either way will work. But the main idea is the first phrase. We go from our F to our C to our G. Okay, then we go back to our C, back to our G, and then for this F, we need to get this 5th string 3rd fret bass note. Okay, so those first 4 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the second half of everything, it just repeats the first 4 measures with one additional thing in that G measure there, right? F to C to G, and then G with this B bass note on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and then we end it with a C. Okay, and the last measure is a C as well, but I don't have anything tabbed because the main walk down has ended at that point. You're just going to do light strumming. So if you wanted to flesh out your strumming, it could sound like this, right? Okay, and I'm using those same strumming patterns I told you for basically the 2nd measure, and for the 4th measure, and for the 7th and 8th measure, right? Those are the measures with just 1 chord. I'm going to use this bass down, up, down, up, bass down, up, down, up, bass down, okay? But for all the measures with 2 chords, I'm going to do a bass down, bass down, bass down, bass down. One thing you might have noticed I did right there is on those measures with 2 chords, I was sneaking in an up strum after the 2 count and the 4 count. You're allowed to do that, but it's not required. Here's a version without the up strum, just to make it extra clear, right? Let me count in 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so Michelle, that's how I approach playing it. Now, I hope this is helpful for you. Again, whether you strum just those portions of the chords on strings 2, 3, and 4, or if you fret the entire chord. Honestly, fretting the entire chord may make this easier for you because it's sort of using muscle memory you already have. And it kind of also gives you some margin of error with your strumming. Because when I'm playing the C chord, for example, I'm sort of muting that 6th string with my thumb. That way I can just strum all 6 strings. It's going to sound good. And if I have to get that 4th string bass note, I just pick the 4th string and then strum all the strings. It's going to sound fine, right? It does require you to get some good aim, though. That's going to be the tricky part. So again, the F, C, G, the C, G, F. F, C, G, G, C. Okay? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. Ooh, the answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Okay, now what I want to do, Michelle, just to sort of help cement this concept, is to show you the same thing in the key of D. And this is going to be with no capo. Now, this is going to be harder to play, but my point in showing you this is, number one, or there's 2 reasons. Number one is sometimes a capo just makes your job easier, right? By using a capo 2nd fret, we can use the C, F, and G chords I showed you, and we can do these bass notes without any crazy stretching going on. Now, we could also do it in the key of D with no capo, but it's going to be a little bit harder. So, for example, we're going to need to, for the G, You could do a G with your open third string as your bass note. Okay, that's relatively approachable and doable, I would say. But then the D bass note, the next bass note has to be this F sharp, right? And to do an F sharp with a D, you have to either do a D with your pinky stretched over, and that's really difficult, especially if you're switching from a G to that D with an F sharp bass note to an A. Then you go back to a D. So this is going to be a deal breaker for me. I have a hard enough time getting my pinky there, and let alone switching to that really fast. I can't do it. And I've played a guitar long enough to know that like that's a very, very, very high difficulty level to do that sort of thing. So you kind of look for workarounds, right? Now, one workaround is use a capo, like we said, but the other workaround is to use this sort of triad version of G, just for this walk down part, right? 5th, 4th, 3rd fret on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. This is coming from this G major bar chord shape, right? But we're just doing this portion of it. It's a nice, easy thing to fret because our fingers aren't getting in the way of each other, nice and straightforward, right? Now, for the D, what we're gonna do is do another triad. It's just strings 4, 3, and 2 again, but it's gonna be frets 4, 2, and 3. Okay, again, this is the same thing as this if we only played the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string, but it's way easier. I mean, it's not super easy to do because you have to learn this shape, but learning this shape is very valuable to do. So the main idea here is G to this D over F sharp, or it's a voicing of D basically, and then this version of A. Now I'm barring all the 2nd fret notes on A, and I'm just doing the 4th string 2nd fret as my bass note. Okay, then you go back to a D, the A again, and then just a G, open strings 4, 3, and 2. Okay, and then we go to G, to D, to A, and then we have to do this A with this C sharp bass note, which is a bit of a reach. It's doable, especially because our hand is already in the A shape. It gives us time to get our ring finger there. And then we just end it with a regular D. Okay, so this is one that's trickier to do. I find it funner to practice without a pick. Okay, I'll sing it. The answer, my friend, is blow. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Okay? So I just want to show you that as something you can practice. And Michelle, I don't know what key you're playing this in again, but if you are in the key of D, no capo, this might help you out. You could strum the rest of the song though like normal, right? D into G into A into D, D into G into D. But then for part 4, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Okay, I feel like I barely got it in time there. So either of those will work for you. So I hope this is helpful for you. Michelle, thanks for writing in. Again, thank you for your support over on my Song Notes website. I hope you find the lessons helpful, and I'm happy to answer with this little video here. Now, if y'all want a slow playthrough of me doing both of these things for the key of C and the key of D, it's just zoomed in with the tabs, and you just want to loop it over and over again. That's on my website, songnotes.net, and I also have a print-friendly guide if you want to follow along with some of these diagrams to learn sort of this walk-down technique in these 2 particular keys. If you're interested in a full song lesson for Blowin' in the Wind, let me know. I don't have that yet, but I could put that together and put together a song sheet as well if you're interested in getting the lyrics and chords and everything on one page. I love to make lessons for the songs that are the most requested. So let me know about that. And in the meantime, my friends, all the best with your playing. Michelle, thanks again for the support, and I hope this was helpful for you. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye.